M. Soumya Manoj, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research is going to conduct the course Electronic Devices and the topic Semiconductor Diode. So we will see the outline here. Introduction to PN junction diode. Then comes the biasing of PN junction diode. There are two types of biasing. One is forward biasing, another one is reverse biasing. And we will see the principle of working and the formation of depletion layer. Next, the characteristics of PN junction diode. Next, Avalek breakdown in PN junction diode. There are two types of characteristics. One is forward and the reverse characteristics of the PN junction diode. So we will start our session here. So PN junction diode, you can see the structure of the diode here. The diode has a two terminal. One is anode and the one is called as a cathode. And we have a p-type material and n-type material, both combined, and it is called as a PN junction diode. In between we have a junction. And that silver color of the diode you can see, that is called as a cathode, and another end opposite to that, it is called as an anode. So p-type material will have the majority carriers of holes and the n-type material will have the majority carriers of the electrons. So these carriers will combine to form the PN junction diode, where the supply is connected to both the terminals. So this is the structure of the diode here. So next we will see the biasing of the PN junction diode. So before entering into the types of biasing, I would like to say what is biasing. So biasing is supplying the external voltage, external DC supply to the PN junction diode or any device. So biasing will make the migration of its carriers. So here biasing, we can say two different types of biasing of the diode. One is forward and the one is the reverse bias. So when you come into the forward biasing of the diode, the definition, when the positive of the supply is given to the p-type material and negative of the supply it is given to the n-type material, then it is called as a forward bias. So next, reverse bias. So what is reverse bias? When the negative of the supply it is given to the p-type material and positive of the supply it is given to the n-type material, then it is called as a reverse bias. So first we will see the forward bias and its operation, then we go to the reverse bias and its operation. So when you come into the we have a two different diagram in this here. So first one is forward biasing of a diode. So when you go to the forward biasing of the diode, positive of the supply, that is you have a DC source. So when the positive of the supply is given to the p-type and negative of the supply it is given to the n-type material, that is called as a forward bias. And you can also have a current limiting resistor which is connected in series with the diode. So current limiting resistor will avoid heavy current flow which will affect the diode. So that's why we have used a current limiting resistor, and also we will see the usage of this resistor in the future. And the supply may be 10 volt to 20 volt we can give. So next you can see the operation. Next diagram will show you the forward biased PN junction diode operation. So when you come into the diode, we have the p-type material and n-type material. So p-type material will have the majority carriers of the holes. You can see in the diagram a small circle we have, that is a small empty circle we have, that is we call it as a majority carriers of holes. And you can also see a small black color that have a minority carriers which is called as an electrons in the p-type material. And likewise when you come into the n-type material, we have a black dot that is called as an electrons. And when we start giving the supply, that is when we start giving the voltage, that is we say as a VF is a forward biased voltage. When we start giving, that is the majority carriers from that is holes from the p-type material will migrate and move towards the n side. Likewise from the electrons from the n side will migrate and move towards the p side. So both electrons and the holes will be migrating from its own place, that is p-type and n-type material. So when it crosses the junction, few of the electrons and the whole carriers, that is electrons and the holes, will become an immobile carriers. That is free charge carriers. We call it as a free charge, immobile. It will not move. Okay, it is said to be stable. It is said to be a constant in the junction. So this will form a depletion region. So the depletion region is formed due to the immobile free charge carriers from the junction. So this is called as the operation of the PN junction diode. So we will see clearly what is the principle of its working. So if the P region, that is anode, is connected to the positive terminal of the external DC source, and the end side, that is cathode, is connected to the negative terminal of the DC source, then the biasing is said to be the forward biasing. So forward biasing has clearly said that when the anode is connected to the positive terminal of the DC supply and the end side, that is cathode, is connected to the negative supply, then it is called as a forward biasing. Likewise, reverse biasing, when we connect the P side of the diode is connected to the negative and the N side is connected to the positive, then it is called as a reverse biasing. So due to the negative terminal of the external source connected to the N region, free electrons from N side are pushed towards the P side. Similarly, the positive end of the supply will push holes from P side towards the N side. So when the supply is given, okay, when we start giving the supply, so what happened? I said that already, that is the majority carriers, that is, say for example, the holes from the P side will move towards the N side. And likewise, the electrons from the N side will move towards the P side. So this is due to the supply. This is due to the biasing, which we call it as a forward biasing. So with increase in the external supply voltage V, okay, now you're going to increase and more. When you're going to increase and more supply, in the sense you're going to give the supply constantly, and more number of holes from the P side and electrons, that is from the N side, start traveling towards the junction. So that is what I said, we have a junction in between, so they will just cross the junction there. Holes and the electrons will start from its own place and travel towards the junction. So the holes will start converting the negative ions into neutral atoms, and the electrons will convert the positive ions into neutral atoms. As a result of this, the width of the depletion region will reduce. This is what I said, that the holes will be start from its own place, okay, and then it will convert to the negative, it will convert the negative ions into a neutral atoms, and likewise electron will convert the positive ions into the neutral atoms. So the charge carriers will become a neutral carrier. Neutral atoms in the sense they will not have any kind of a charge, whether it is positive or negative. They are said to be neutral. So due to this neutral atoms which is formed in the junction will form the depletion region. So when we start increasing the external supply voltage V, that is forward voltage, that is VF, the depletion region will gradually decrease, will gradually reduce. So due to the reduction in the depletion region width, the barrier potential will also reduce. Eventually, at a particular value of V, the depletion region will collapse. So when you start keep on increasing the external supply voltage, at certain stage, your depletion region will vanish. So now there is absolutely no opposition to the flow of electrons and holes. Okay, so this will not make any kind of that is, you can have neutral atoms in between, depletion region will totally vanish at the end. So hence a large number of electrons or holes, that is majority carriers, can cross the junction under the influence of externally connected DC voltage. So this is the operation of working of your forward bias of the PN junction diode. So likewise, when you come into the reverse biasing also, totally you can see that it's just opposite when you give the supply. So we will see what happens at its working. So this diagram will show you the clear formation of depletion layer in PN junction. You can see here P-type and N-type material. Okay, so P-type material will have the majority carriers of holes, and minority carrier also it will have. Because because it is, you can see this operation at the end of the supply. So we have given the supply there. Okay, so after giving the supply, what happens? So P-type material will have the majority carriers, will have the holes, and minority carriers will be electrons. And likewise, N-type material will have the majority carriers electrons and minority carriers will be holes. You can see there a small circle, everything clearly defined there. That is minority carrier, what is majority carrier of both a P-type material and the N-type material. So they have crossed its junction, right, the PN junction. So when they crossed, what happened? There is a formation of the immobile ions. That is, you can see that negative immobile ions and positive immobile ions which is formed as a depletion region. Okay, so this diagram will clearly show you how the depletion layer in the diode is formed. And next, at the instant p-n junction formation, the free electrons near the junction in the n region begin to diffuse across the junction into p region, where they combine with holes near that junction. So this is what they say, that we have a free electrons near the junction in the n region and begin to diffuse across the junction into a p region, where they combine with holes near the junction. So they will combine with the holes also. So the result is that n region loses a free electrons. This creates a layer of positive charges, that is pentavalent ions near the junction. So the p region losses holes, and the result, there is a negative charges, trivalent ions near the junction. So we have a positive ion and negative ion. We call it as an immobile. Actually, these positive charges are called as a pentavalent, and negative charges are called as a trivalent ions, which is formed near the junction. So this is the result of the biasing. So the shaded region we have now on both the sides of the junction that contains only immobile ions. So what is immobile ion? Immobile ions are no free charge, that is they are said to be a free charge carrier, no free charge carrier. Okay, like we have electrons or holes. Okay, so in other words, this region is called as a depletion region, or it is depleted of a free charge carrier. There is a place which has a free charge carrier, hence it is called as a depletion region. So once p-n junction is formed, the depletion region is created. Okay, so it's created the diffusion of the free electrons. So this positive and negative charges set an electric field. So we have a junction, right? So we have an immobile charge carriers, and these positive and negative charges will constitute an electric field of the diode. Okay, so now you can see in the next slide, reverse biased diode. So when you come into the reversed bias diode, I've said the definition of the reverse biasing is when the negative of the supply is given to the p-type material, and when the positive of the supply is given to the n-type material, which is called as a reverse bias. So you can see this diagram will show you the clear operation of the reverse bias. So you can see the supply is given. You have connected the current limiting resistor in series with the diode. Okay. So when you start giving the supply, what happens? Because this is what we have, because we know that P will have holes and N will have an electron. You can see the diagram will show you the depletion region also. Okay, actually this is at the end of the supply. Okay, so when you start giving the biasing, what happened? That this diagram will show you that case. So you can see that p-type have a holes, that is empty circle, and N will have a black color dot. You can see that is electron. Okay, so now you're going to start giving the supply. Okay, now we are going to start giving the bias. When the biasing is given, to the p-type or n-type material, the holes from the p-type material are migrated towards, okay, so the holes in the p-type region are attracted towards the negative terminal of the supply, and likewise the electrons from the n-type are attracted towards the positive terminal of the supply. Okay, so they're not going to cross your depletion region. They're not going to reach the p-type and the n-type material opposite. Okay, so they're just after it is opposite to the forward bias, they are attracted to the supply, because we know that negative and the hole is positive, right? They are positively charged. So hole is positively charged, it is going to attracted with the negative charge. And likewise, electrons are negatively charged ions, and negatively charged ions are attracted towards the positive of the supply. So this is going to take place at the reverse bias condition. So when you start giving the supply more and more, so what happened? The depletion region will be formed. Okay, so the depletion region will be widened. But in case of forward bias, the depletion region are getting reduced. When the supply is given, you're going to constantly increase your supply. The depletion region will be reducing, and finally it becomes collapse. But in case of reverse bias region, when you're going to start giving the supply, the widening of the depletion region will take place. Okay, the process of widening is going to take place, but is not take place at longer time due to there is no steady flow of current from N side to the P side. So when there is no steady current flow, what happens? The depletion region will not widen more and more after certain situation. Okay, so this is what you can see. The depletion region will keep on increasing when you're going to constantly increase the supply so that few electrons are flow. So the electron is not timing that current state at this position said to be reverse saturation current due to minority carrier. So this current flow, we'll call it as a reverse saturation current. So next we will come to the characteristics of the p-n junction diode. So we can see the p-n junction diode characteristics, that is called as a VI characteristics. VI characteristics, there here you have two different characteristics. One is forward, another one is reverse. So you can see at the forward characteristics, we are going to plot with voltage, that is VD with respect to the ID. And here also you have a reverse voltage, that is we have a VR and IR. Okay, so we are going to measure the current in terms of milliamps and the voltage in terms of voltage. Okay, so volts. So you can see the characteristics here. That is in the forward characteristic, you have a two different characteristics which is defined for the germanium and the silicon. So germanium, you can see it has a value of the voltage, that is 0.3 voltage, and for the silicon it has 0.7 voltage, 0.3 volt and 0.7 volt. That is said to be a constant voltage for the silicon semiconductor and the germanium semiconductor. And you have a Knee voltage. You can see the Knee voltage there. I will define all the terminals, that is terminologies, that is key voltage and the breakdown voltage, everything. And you can see the reverse saturation current also. Reverse saturation current is a minimum current, is negligible current which is flowing in the diode. Okay, so you have a Knee voltage, you have to define what is reverse saturation current, and you have to define what is breakdown voltage also. So we will see the certain terminologies which is defined already. Reverse saturation current. So reverse saturation current is which this kind of a current is flowing when it is reverse bias. So in reverse bias condition, there will be a negligible amount of current that will flow through the device due to the minority carrier, which is called as the reverse saturation current. So this reverse bias condition, you can see there will be a negligible amount of current. There is a very less current which is flowing through the device, that is due to the minority carrier. Okay, and next one is a Knee voltage. So Knee voltage is the applied forward voltage, because Knee voltage normally it will occur at the forward bias. So at the forward voltage, you can have a very minimum kind of a voltage which is flowing there, and at which the PN junction start conducting is called the cut-in voltage. So this Knee voltage is also called as a cut-in voltage. It is known as a Knee voltage. Okay, so the cut-in voltage is going to be 0.7 volt for the silicon and 0.3 volt for the germanium PN junction diode. Next, depletion layer. The region in the PN junction diode which comprises of immobile ions is called as a depletion region. So immobile ion in the sense, the ions are said to be a free charge carriers, which the depletion region is formed in both the forward and the reverse bias. Next is static resistance of the diode. The resistance of a diode at the operating point can be obtained by taking the ratio of the VF and the IF. The resistance offered by the diode to the forward DC operating conditions is called as a DC or static resistance. So you can see this static resistance, the definition. Resistance, we are going to take the ratio of the VF by IF. That is forward voltage, that is, you can see the forward voltage divided by the forward current will give you the resistance of the diode. It normally occurs at the forward bias, and this resistance is also called as a DC resistance. And this diagram will show you what is Evelyn breakdown in the PN junction diode. So Evelyn breakdown is a kind of a breakdown like we have in a forward bias, we have a cut-in voltage, right? So that's also called as a Knee voltage. Likewise, in PN junction diode, we have a Evelyn breakdown. So Evelyn breakdown will be occur mostly in the reverse bias condition. Okay, that's going to be a very minimum negligible voltage which is flowing in the reverse bias condition. You can see it is VB breakdown voltage, or it is called as a Evelyn breakdown voltage. So we will see what is Evelyn breakdown here. Under reverse bias condition, the minority carrier flowing through the PN junction acquires a kinetic energy depending upon the velocity which they move. Okay, so you can see that reverse bias condition, there is a minority carrier flowing in the diode. Okay, so that will have its own kinetic energy depending upon its own velocity. So the increase in the reverse voltage, again what you do, you will increase the reverse voltage which is applied to the diode. That automatically increases the amount of the kinetic energy imparted to the minority carrier. Okay, so as they diffuse across the PN junction. So when the sufficient voltage is applied, okay, so now we are going to apply the sufficient voltage, necessary voltage. So the minority carrier acquires a large amount of kinetic energy. Okay, so this minority carrier, you have a minority carrier. When you go for the P-type and N-type, which has its own minority carrier, they will acquire a large amount of the kinetic energy, or it's called as a momentum. So when these minority carriers collide with semiconductor, whether use both germanium or silicon, depending upon our usage, atoms within the crystal structure of the p-n junction, they impart sufficient energy to break the covalent bond and generate additional carrier. Okay, so when you keep on increasing the supply, the kinetic energy will be formed, and this increase in the kinetic energy, that is called as a momentum. Okay, and this will break the covalent bond. Okay, and when the covalent bonds are broken, what happens? The electron and hole pairs are generated, and these becomes an additional carrier also. They knock out the electrons from the covalent bonds of the p-n junction. Okay, so these additional carriers, these additional extra carrier generated, right? So from they will pick up the energy from the applied voltage and generate still more carrier. As a result of this, the reverse current through the p-n junction increase. Okay, so the cumulative process of the carrier generation, that is a multiplication, is known as the avalanche breakdown. Okay, so you can see this avalanche breakdown. Avalanche breakdown is due to the additional process. It is due to the cumulative process of the carrier generation. That is, we call it as a multiplication. Because you are going to produce more and more electron and hole pair, this will form the avalanche breakdown. So under breakdown condition, the reverse current is no longer limited by the p-n junction, but it can be limited only by the circuit component. So now how do you reduce this avalanche breakdown? This avalanche breakdown can be reduced by when you go, because that's why we are using a current limiting resistor. So this current limiting resistor will reduce its avalanche breakdown, and you can add more and more circuit component depending upon the necessity. So the value of the breakdown voltage depends upon the degree of doping also. How you are going to dope the diode, that is also very important. And you can see two different characteristics. We will see the forward characteristics here. So you can see the forward characteristics of the p-n junction diode. So in the forward characteristics, you can see here IF versus VF. You can see A to B, B to C. Clear? So there is a cut-in voltage. Cut-in voltage already defines a minimum voltage which is going to flow in the forward bias. Okay, that is a minimum current also, it's going to flow from A to B. So this region you are going to define from A to B what happened, from B to C what happened. The forward characteristics is a graph of the anode to cathode, that is forward voltage VF versus the forward current IF through the diode. So now the forward characteristics we are going to divide into two portions, that is AB and BC. Now we will see the region A to B of the forward characteristics. The forward voltage is small and less than the cut-in voltage. Therefore, the forward current flowing through the diode is small. With further increase in the forward voltage, it reaches the level of the cut-in voltage, and the width of the depletion region goes on decreasing. So whatever the operation we have studied in the forward biasing, same thing will tend you to make an voltage which is called as a minimum voltage, that is Agni voltage, or it is a cut-in voltage. So this forward voltage is very small and it allows your very minimum current to flow in the diode. So with further increase in the forward voltage, it reaches the level of the cut-in voltage and the width will be reducing from A to B. And next we will see the region B to C here. So region B to C you can see here. So region B to C, as soon as the forward voltage equals to the cut-in voltage, current through the diode increases suddenly. The nature of this current is exponential. The large forward current in the region B to C of the forward characteristics is limited by connecting a resistor R in series with the diode. Forward current is of the order of the few milliamps. So we said no, like the resistor, now this resistor is very important in limiting the heavy forward current. That is the reason why we have this. And you can see there is an exponential increase in the current. When the forward bias is given, there is exponential increase in the diode of the current and the voltage. And this is in terms of the milliamps. That is what the B2C region will have. The forward current is a conventional current that flows from the anode to cathode. Actually, this current is a conventional current that is flowing from the anode to cathode. Therefore, it is considered to be the positive current. Yes, of course, it is said to be a positive in the forward bias. Of course, it is said to be negative in the reverse bias. Okay, so the forward characteristics appears in the first quadrant. So cut in voltage is a new voltage. So this voltage at which the forward diode current start increasing rapidly is known as the cut in voltage of the diode. So the cut in voltage is very close to the barrier potential. And this cut in voltage is called as the Knee voltage. So this voltage we have a constant value. Silicon will have a 0.6 volt and germanium diode is going to have a 0.2 volt. Next comes the reverse characteristics of a diode. So when you come into the reverse characteristics of a diode, you can see here certain terminologies like reverse saturation current will flow. That's going to be a minimum current flow in the reverse bias. Next, there is a minimum voltage also that is called as a reverse breakdown voltage. And you're going to measure the current in terms of microamps. Okay. Now we will see this operation here. The current flowing through the diode in the reversed bias state is said to be a reverse saturation current which flows due to the minority carriers. Therefore, it is treated as a negative current. Hence, the reverse characteristics appears equal to, okay, it is equal to I naught if the temperature is constant. So this current is said to be a negative current. It is said to be a negative reverse saturation current. Okay, this is automatically occurs only at the reverse bias condition. As the reverse voltage is increased, the reverse saturation current remains constant equal to 10. So that's what they said that until certain 10, for example, if the temperature is said to be constant, the value will set to be constant. The reverse saturation current will not vary according to the voltage. So this is because the reverse saturation current does not depend on the reverse voltage, but it depends purely on the temperature. We know that diode is purely temperature dependent. But as the reverse voltage reaches the breakdown voltage value, a large current flow through the diode due to the reasons which I have discussed already. Okay, thus we define the reverse breakdown voltage of the PN junction diode as a reverse voltage at which the breakdown takes place and the large reverse current start flowing the diode. So the operation in the breakdown region should be avoided because the diode may be damaged due to the excessive power dissipation. So that's why they say that you can see that a very minimum amount of voltage, a minimum amount of the saturation current it leaves. So you should not make it more constant to operate. Okay, so we have to avoid such kind of operation, that is reverse bias operation, to avoid the damage of the diode. So typically the reverse breakdown voltage for the PN junction diode will be from 50 to 100 volts. Thank you. So this is what we have discussed now. Okay. So far we have discussed about various characteristics of the biasing. Okay. And we have defined about the forward bias and the reverse bias and its operation with a clear state of diagram and certain terminologies which is required in forward bias and the reverse bias, and how the forward and reverse kind of a current is going to flow there. Okay, and finally clear terminologies with the values, constant values of the characteristics. Thank you.